Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is our year to shine 2021 together on this channel talking about so much. Today I'm going to finish up our talk on Laurie McCammon's book Enough. There's been a lot to think about with this one, right? Hope it's been making you think. Definitely has been for me. When I think about a way to sort of summarize what we've talked about with the Enough journey, I go back to this page where she's got some bullet points about what is this whole enough movement about. Well, and these are various things that we talked about in some of the videos. So feeling belongingness instead of accumulating belongings. We talked about what the real simple abundance is, right? Appreciating our unique and precious gifts. I have a kitty here. Realizing that we're part of a universal collective. Valuing feminine roles and qualities. If you think about the feminine being the more nurturing side. And taking our power back from the experts. So when somebody tells you how it is, yes, there's scarcity and this is why, then sort of questioning that. We did do a lot of questioning in the book. Is there anything that you would add to that? Yeah. I think that's a good summary of some of the bullet points. And then I just made some notes. And then I like this message as well about love. Love moves us forward in the direction of our dreams. And remember, we talked about the fact that if you're not following your passions, just like we talked all about last year in our Simple Abundance year, if you're just sort of downplaying that inner voice that wants to do something or has a real deep calling for something, then you're depriving yourself. Yeah. So, as many new online charitable platforms reveal, it is not necessary to use blame, shame, or fear to motivate people to take action that contributes to the greater good. That was the old never enough way. And it rarely worked as a sustainable strategy because people are wired to avoid facing the pain and fear inherent of these stories. When the attractor is instead a dream for a better world, people show up and give because they want to experience a sense of hope, meaning, connection, and purpose. This inner motivation is inherent and can be trusted. It doesn't need to be coerced, shamed, or shocked into being. People give because it opens their hearts and makes them feel good. Civic engagement and philanthropy don't need to mean angry, sad, or loud. We can stand together, hand in hand, creating a space for something to emerge that we can love into being together. What do you think about the Enough movement? Do you think that's a very sort of like a hippie-ish sort of statement of like, if we just stand hand in hand and we all have love, then we can change the story? Maybe it's the cynic in me because I'm kind of thinking like, I think it will. I still feel like even after reading the book that it would take a lot to really change the ingrained idea that we all live with of this never enough society. I'm definitely going to be questioning it more, and I'm aware that there's a choice. And so I'm glad I read the book, but I'm not going to be involved in a movement to change things. To me, it just seems like too much and just a little bit more than I want to do. Peace and well-being come from forgiveness, from abandoning the illusion that we can hate and not suffer from carrying the emotion of hate within ourselves. Peace and well-being come from aligning with love. Self-love asks for this. When we know we are enough, when we cultivate the self-love, we know we are worthy of such a world. Loving our dreams transforms us, especially the kind of love that comes from within when we believe we are enough to make our dreams come true. And I'm wondering, is it because I don't think I'm enough that I'm not ready to be a part of the larger movement? Just sort of came to me. There is a workbook exercise about, it's called Love Expansion. And I'm not going to go into detail about it, but what I really liked was that there was a guided meditation, and it was about imagining that you're a star and that light radiates from you. So it was going along with my year to shine. And the universe is a love story, and you are a star, radiating love's light from your core. You are the bringer of love's heat and brilliance, the ultimate source of love's unlimited supply. It doesn't need to be difficult or complicated. It is not mere poetry, metaphor, or cliche. It is the simple underlying truth of existence. The universe is a love story, and you are a star. I love that. I love that. So, you're a star. Follow your dreams. Move towards your true north, that North Star, if you want to call it that. All right, so here we're getting into the integration of being the change, becoming the change. So she says, I am understanding the phrase be the change. Remember, or actually I shouldn't say remember, but one of you commented on the quote, be the change that you want to be in the world. And so she does give a little a nod to that as well in this section I'm summarizing. But so she says she's understanding the phrase be the change in a more profound level than ever before. It means standing up boldly for our inner truth, especially when it contradicts old established patterns. It means trusting our growing edge. It means welcoming enough intuitions and observing the expansion of enoughness within us that happens after. I am living increasingly in an enough story now. This is Lori saying this, the author. Understanding that an enough world is not separate from who we are, but it is a field that permeates everything, including ourselves. We talked about enough being a field. I liked that. It's important to note that we do not always have the freedom to select the kind of planetary future we can today. This window of opportunity is new. The never enough illusion was a very long time took a very long time convincing. The walls of distortion are too thick, but the walls have been crumbling. That's Lori again telling us this. Much more light is shining through the cracks. Some people have broken through to the other side and are bringing back vivid tales from the new territory. Remember we talked about sharing the enough message? Have you been thinking about that as well? Or maybe noticing some things around where you're thinking like, yeah, that is proof that there's definitely enough. Keep your eyes out. So we are the choice makers. It is a choice. No matter what, whether we get all the way to the enough way of living, there's still going to be the enough story. It's just that we're choosing one over the other. And I'm not, I don't want to be total pessimist by saying that I don't believe that we can change everything. But if I want to live more personally in the enough way, then I can. And maybe I would affect other people positively if they noticed my way of speaking or just relating about various things. So I could be a part of the change. Lori summarizes by saying, if I've done my duty to the enough message, I will have provided adequate information to encourage you to jump into the mystery a little earlier than you otherwise would have. If I have been a clear translator, I will have helped you to see that your impulses are guided and supported by a meta-story of truly cosmic proportions, and that the story is already spreading like wildfires globally in the form of all the social movements and innovations that are arising from this shared impulse. And I didn't go too much into it, but one of the things she talks about in the book is about sustainability, and there is a large green movement for sure, and people that are doing regenerative things and really getting back to the nature balance and the circle of life, I guess, in terms of seeds and other things. So she does say, obviously, in writing this book, she has made the choice personally. I would think that that would be true. Nothing from within the old story, so that's the never enough story, can predict our personal calling for the new story, the enough world. The transformation from caterpillar to butterfly teaches us that there's no straight line from one story to the next. We must expect surprises and the seemingly miraculous as we transition from share to transform and from never enough to enough. We can no longer hold back with excuses that we are not qualified to do the work of a planetary change. The enough paradigm is truly a different territory and doesn't operate by linear roles. It honors and respects spontaneous arisings and does not require credentials, personal recommendation, or resumes. All of this is to say that you can do whatever calls to you and it will be beautifully, perfectly enough. It is never too late to embrace the enough world you want to live in. Anytime you are ready is the right time. So maybe I'm not totally ready yet to embrace this entire enough world, but I can start in my own life. And that was the last page of the book that I just read. So I'm glad that we talked about this book. I think it was a good start to the year too, because this channel is definitely about growth and transformation and savoring the simple things, and there was a lot of that in this book. I will not spill the beans yet about February, but I think that this was also a nice jumping off point for the next book that I'm going to talk about, which will be, I'll just give a little tidbit, nicely aligned with February being a month of love and self-love and self-awareness and more of all the things that we've been talking about on the channel. So stick around. I think you will enjoy that, and I'm looking forward to that next one. And I will be soon opening up my February envelope. So let's see what fun is in store for me for February. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think. I guess my overall thought, I do think the book was worthwhile to read. The workbook, I got some things out of it. I think there was a lot in there that's really more geared to a group, and it's probably like a year's worth of activities in there. I think there was a lot of repetition in the book, but maybe that's because we need a lot of encouragement and different ways of looking at the same subject, and to really get over that ingrained never enough story that really we've all been living with. So I would give it a good rating. It's not something that I would say everybody has to read this book. It's life-changing. I think, and maybe that's because I wasn't totally ready for it, like that last page. Maybe at some point, if I were totally ready for it, it would be more life-changing. But I think it was life-changing no matter what, just to actually go through it and to share it with you guys. So I hope at least one of the topics we talked about did speak to you, and thank you as always for the comments you leave. I love hearing from you, and I will see you on the next video. Bye-bye.